And we are back. Hello everyone and welcome back to the live stream. This time we are here for the qualifying session ahead of the Hungarian Grand Prix. I am JW97 once again, and I'm once again joined by Ra.
Hello, I'll be back soon.
As it seems like somebody's calling Ra. So as he was just saying that. So getting ready for
Sounded like a microwave to me.
Might be a microwave, or we might have a very weird ringtone. But anyway, as we're getting ready for the qualifying, as you can see, it's going to be a bone dry session for the entirety of it. So I think without further ado, let's get into it. Of course, Raul will join us in a little bit. So whilst we're on the loading screen, guys, let us know your prediction on who you believe will be eliminated in the first part of qualifying here at the Hungaroring, who you believe will get eliminated. And for my prediction, I'm going to say both Manners, both Williamses I'm going to go for, in fact, an Alpha and a Haas. So that's my prediction. We'll wait for Ra to come back and then he'll give us... Okay, so what is your prediction then on who you believe will get eliminated, Ra?
Both Manners, both Haas, a Williams and Alfa Romeo.
Okie. Now, of course, we didn't have any dry running in practice, so for anybody wondering, of course, the tyres we're using here at Budapest is the red soft tyres. So the softest compound of tyres might be a bit interesting with Hungary, depending on what the degradation is like with these tyres this week, because Hungary has been known in real life to be a tyre killer. So whether that is going to be the same in this one, depending on the degradation, we will have to wait and see. It's Chris Chatfield is the first man out on the racetrack, along with Jake Galloway. So the AlphaTauri and the Renault are first out on the racetrack, as Fong Chanak has given us a prediction of himself. He says both Manners, both Haas, a Williams and an Alpha. So he's gone with that as his prediction. And as they all make their way towards the left-hander now then, and coming out the right-hander there was Chatfield. In fact, it seems that the stream is still a bit behind still from what it was in practice. So maybe something for Yuri to sort out before the race tomorrow, because usually it's usually around, what is it, like 2 seconds behind or something like that. It seems on this occasion it's about I'm gonna once the lap time comes up, I'll tell you, because I can't quite tell at the moment. So now Chatfield comes around the right-hander as he will now make his way towards the final. Okay, so okay, enough. Right then, so Chatfield then started. Okay, yeah, because on our end, of course, there's a bit of a delay with the stream. So the stream is obviously a few seconds behind than what me and Ra are currently. So we're getting it before you guys, really. There's usually a slight delay, usually, but only because of the problems we had earlier, it lowered it to this point. So anyway, Chatfield, first sector, 27.346. And but as Yuri said, that will be fixed for the race tomorrow, as now Chatfield comes up towards the chicane, the right-left chicane, flicking it in for the right, and then the left-hander, as he'll now make his way towards the S's, flicking it in for the left, then through into the right-hander, and now coming towards the next section of corners now then, into the right-hander, as he'll now make his way down towards the right-hander. Oh, because somebody edited Yuri's settings. Apologies there. So it's not because of the issues we had earlier in practice, it's a separate issue. So Chatfield comes around the final two turns and now make his way towards the final corner. Now onto the pit straight will come Chris Chatfield as he now make his way onto the pit straight and across the line. It's a 1:15.589. That's the benchmark of time. Jake Galloway crosses the line. He goes 2 tenths slower and slots into second place. Here comes Roberto Gambo making his way onto the pit straight. Across the line he will go, and he goes into third position. Here comes Gabriel Gomez. He goes into fourth, 2 seconds off. P4 only for Mikolas Gal that time by P5 for Evan Byrne. Not the best first lap for the home favourite, Mikolas Gal. Felix Sontag crosses the line, slots into sixth, 2 seconds off. Emilia Wilson goes into ninth. Sixth place for Franco Gama, got held up quite a bit there. Kupok slots into fourth. Here comes Laura Chung as he makes her way through the final turn and onto the pit straight. Will go Laura Chung in the Ferrari. Across the line Goes the Chinese driver, goes into 7th. Here comes Kirishima De Rosa. He goes into 6th. The re-signed McLaren driver slots to P6. P8 for Roland Motrin. Here comes Daniel Fraser. He goes into 9th position. P2 for Franco Lopez. So a brilliant first lap for Chris Chatfield, it's fair to say. As Joseph Willows goes into 12th. George Rowe crosses the line, goes into 12th position himself, as Dudu Kirby is now going to cross the line to go into 14th. Jamie Griffiths across the line himself goes into 16th. P8 only for Armar Carr, get held up there by the Williams. It's P9 for Andre Federi, a very good first lap for him there. As here comes Roberto Martinez, the last driver to cross the line. Across the line he will go, and he slots into last position, 3/10 off his teammate Emilio Wilson. So at this point in time, surprisingly, Chris Chatfield is at the top of the timing sheets in the AlphaTauri, and in the bottom 6, mainly because of traffic, we've got Franco Gambo down there.
Yeah, it's a big surprise that Roberto Gambo's there. Hopefully he can get a clean lap in and he can go through to the next session, but we'll see. Also, Willows down in 15th. Not the best lap for him, but we'll see what he can do. But yeah, so far so good.
Yep, and of course, to remind everyone as well about Joseph Willows, of course, for anybody who didn't watch practice, Joseph Willows, of course, does have a 5-place grid penalty that he has to have in this race. So wherever he ends up in this qualifying session, Willows will drop 5 places back, and that was due to him causing an accident with Jake Galloway at the last race at Silverstone, both of their home Grand Prix, in fact. So the British fans probably not that happy about that, as Wilson's having to wait for the Williams to be towed back before she can get into her garage, that Williams being Felix Sontag, the re-signed Felix Sontag, I should point out, in fact, because, of course, he will be remaining at Williams for next season. And so we'll be waiting for the next laps to happen very soon. So Wilson gets towed back into her garage then. And so Wilson now then will be getting ready for the next session, as Griffiths has missed his garage by miles there. I don't know if he had a bit of contact there, but it seems like he's taken a little bit of a detour through the pit lane and through the medical cars, and even through this parked Range Rover that's just hanging out at the exit of the pit lane there. Griffiths should come to a stop very soon, which he will, I think. Yes. Luckily, doesn't block the pit lane for Roberto Gambo to go by. So Roberto Gambo, the first man on the track this time by. It's the Italian, currently in 4th position. I think it's fair to say in the last few races, right, it's been a little bit shaky for him. Not for any, some of it not for any fault of his own, because he has been involved in a few incidents in the last few races, and he'd be desperate to try and to not have that happen this time by, and hope to pick up some points this week.
Yeah, indeed. Hopefully he can get points again after what happened in Silverstone. As you said, got cut out in the pit lane, pit entry glitch.
So obviously, Roberto Gambo, well, in fact, his wasn't a pit entry glitch. It was more, he actually had a collision with Evan Byrne, if you may not remember, at Silverstone. That was caused by a race against. The pit entrance glitch involved Gabriel Gomez and Jamie Griffiths, if I'm not mistaken. So
then I confused the other Ferrari, because the other Ferrari was very close to getting wiped out.
Yeah, indeed, Loa Chung was close to getting wiped out in that race. Roberto Gambo, of course, is touted to possibly remain at Ferrari for next season, given the rumours surrounding Chung going to Lamborghini. And of course, now we know, of course, that Jake Galloway will be joining Ferrari next season from Renault, and it'll be very interesting to see what Jake can do in the Ferrari. And he'll probably be hoping that in the fantasy era, Ferrari are back towards the front in 2021, where he can possibly try and fight for more wins, because he's already got a win this season, and maybe even a championship. Who knows, really, what the fantasy era is going to spew out. But anyway, Roberto Gambo making his way up towards the end of the first sector, and he's 4/10 down on Chatfield in the first sector, 2/10 down on his personal best. So Chatfield, is fair to say, having a very good first lap that time by in the AlphaTauri. Is now into the chicane through the right and the left. I didn't say shaky season though, I only said the word shaky, so I halved it that time, so that doesn't count. Maybe I want to deliberately get people drunk by saying that. I don't know, because I don't know if there's some kind of drinking game going on with me saying shaky season. But there's another drink there for you. So, Anyway, as Roberto Gambo now then, looks like he's not going to improve this time by as he makes his way through the final two turns. One of the racing points is behind. I think they're about to start a lap, if I'm not mistaken. Through the final turn, Jamie Griffiths has been left behind for this one, so he's going to stay in the garage for these runs. He'll be back out for the next one, given the length of this track. Roberto Gambo, as expected, does not improve. Galloway is also not improving at this moment in time, the newly signed Ferrari driver. As Galloway now then comes around the final turn. And onto the pit straight will come the rookie sensation as he makes his way down the pit straight and across the line he will go. And he does not improve. He remains in 6th position as I keep on getting notifications on my brand new iPad that I got recently. So anyway, here comes Gomez. He was held up by traffic earlier on, so this should be an improvement. And he goes up into 15th. Franco Gama, meanwhile, that's more like it, gets up into 2nd place. So he gets out of the drop zone. No improvements there apart from Roland Mocho. And as Gal goes fastest by 0.4 of a second. The home favourite goes to the top as Willows goes up into 3rd. A big improvement for him there. So we're seeing a lot of improvements coming now, seeing as there's not much traffic on these laps. So we've got to get a flag, and it looks like somebody's spotted.
It's Lopez!
Lopez has crashed at...
and he's the wrong way.
He looks like he's crashed it at... what turn is that? That's the quick right-hander he's had it off. He's made a mistake and gone off wide. And how's he lost his wheel? And, oh, the turning circle. He clearly misjudged that one. So it's going to have to be a T-car for Lopez there. But that's not good for the current championship leader.
Yep, indeed. My car must have got lucky from this one. Just about.
Yeah, he probably was staring at him there going, whoa. Anyway, well, back to the action. Q-Park doesn't improve. Byrne doesn't improve. I wonder if these guys got held up potentially from the tyre that was there from Lopez. Chung is on an improvement. Is she still going to improve? She does. She goes up to 2nd. So a big improvement there. Here comes Amar Carr, who actually witnessed the crash. So in fact, no, those guys didn't witness it. This guy did, though. Carr across the line goes up into 8th position. Maybe still got a tad bit held up from what happened with Lopez there. Here comes George Rowe. Across the line, he will go in the racing point. Gets up into 7th place. Gets up front.
Oh, there is an involvement.
Front wing damage for one of the Manners, and that looks like Martinez has got damage. So it looks like he's collected the wheel. Let's have a look. And yes, he has. So Martinez has clipped that wheel. It was just on the edge of the racing line there. So drama for Rosetta Martinez, who was on a lap. So that lap's been compromised as a result. And look at all this traffic as they're heading back to the pits this time by, as Lopez is just getting hoisted over the barriers. And luckily for him, an Austria moment shouldn't happen to him this time by. He's currently in 6th, so he's relatively safe, so he shouldn't worry too much. But given the amount of improvements that we've seen, maybe he needs to be wary. So Videri's on a lap, but it looks like he's getting held up by Amelia Wilson, who's coming into the pit. So it looks like Videri is not going to improve. Videri, meanwhile, is currently in 14th position. As Videri crosses the line and doesn't improve, remains in 14th position, just in front of Evan Byrne. And so now there may be some kind of disconnect now in terms of how everything lines up really when it comes to qualifying really. We may see the odd one go out now in the spare car, namely Lopez and potentially Martinez. Well, he's not in a spare car, he's just going to be repairing his front wing. But in the case of Lopez, he will be going out in the spare car. In fact, Griffiths is going to go out on the racetrack first of all. So Jamie Griffiths now then goes out on the racetrack. As now we come down towards the left-hander now then. So at the moment, this is how the leaderboard is currently looking as Griffiths is about to start lap. Gal at the top with Chung in 2nd, Chatfield 3rd, Willows 4th, Franco Gambo in 5th, with Lopez in 6th, Roke 7th, Galloway in 8th, Carr in 9th, for Roberto Gambo completing the top 10. And so far in the drop zone, we have Gomez, Kirby, Griffiths, Sontag, Wilson and Martinez. So both Williamses, both Manners, a Haas and an Alfa Romeo so far in this session. So far my prediction might be correct because I predicted both Williams, both Manners, a Haas and an Alfa. So let's see if that still ends up being the case for the remainder of the session. So as Lopez is now back out on the track in the spare car, Galloway also out there, as is Martinez, having a quick front nose change, so they'll be able to do laps on this occasion. Griffiths will be hoping there'll be no traffic at this time by, as they now make their way towards the final 2 turns. And into the final corner then will go Jamie Griffiths, as he now makes his way onto the pit straight, and he will now start his lap. Again, he'll be hoping there's no traffic on the exit. As Griffiths makes his way down towards turn 1, is there any traffic? There is. Could it compromise Griffiths? It's just on the right-hand side as they make their way down towards turn 1. It's the Mercedes. No, it's not. It's a Red Bull, in fact. I think it might be just okay for Griffiths, but we'll wait and see as he just makes his way down towards turn 3. The fixed turn 3 now, as Yuri was able to repair it, for anybody who is not aware. Through the left-hand, and then goes Jamie Griffiths. He'll now make his way down towards the flat-out right-hander, as he'll now make his way up towards the end of Sector 1. Let's see what the end of Sector 1 is going to be like then for the Welshman. And he's 2 temps down on Gal, but 3 temps up on his personal best. So let's see if he can keep this up for the remainder of the lap. He'll be hoping not to get held up by the Red Bull in front. Not sure which Red Bull it is, because both Gal and Franco Gambo are out on the racetrack as Griffiths makes his way swiftly through the chicane there, through into the S's now then, as the flicks the car in through these fast section of medium speed corners, flat out through the left-hander, now through the right-hander, where Lopez of course had his crash just a little bit earlier on in this session, and that's why he's out in the spare car. 9 tenths down on Gal, but he's 7 tenths up on his personal best, so I think Griffiths can try and get himself out of the drop zone here if he can keep this one up, but let's see. Coming around the corner as he goes. In fact, he needs to find a full second if he wants to get out of the drop zone. Coming around the final corner goes Jamie Griffiths onto the pit straight. Might get a little bit of slipstream from Franco Gambo. Let's see. Griffiths now there. Across the line he goes in the Williams, and he goes up to 17th. Wasn't able to find that extra 10th he needed to get out of the drop zone. He gets up into 17th. As Lopez is on the track right now, getting held up a bit by the Haas, but he is on an improvement, but it got wrecked because of that, and he remains in 6th position at this point. As we now look at Galloway, it looks like he's getting held up now by the AlphaTauri that's in front. Let's see what his second sector is like. He's 1.2 down, so I think that AlphaTauri is having a bit of an effect on Galloway's lap at the moment. Although Galloway, where is he at the moment? He's currently in 8th position. So at the moment, he's pretty much he's so far safe, I think it's fair to say. His teammate, on the other hand, might need to get a very quick lap in because he's only in 15th position at the moment. He's Evan Byrne. As Galloway now then comes down the pit straight and across the line will go the Brit, and he does not improve. Here comes Rosetta Martinez down the pit straight, across the line. He will go, gets up to 21st, gets above his teammate Emilia Wilson. Wilson, the only one being over 3 seconds behind Gal at this point. Willows crosses the line, no improvement, remains in 4th. As Carr, I don't know if he was starting a lap or not there, but it's not come up on anything on the timing tower. As Sontag crosses the line, remains in 20th position. Here comes Roberto Gambo, currently in the cusp of the top 10. Around the final turn will go the Italian as he makes his way onto the pit straight, and across the line he will go, and he does not improve. Evan Byrne is not on an improvement, and he remains in 15th, so he's got to hope and pray. De Rosa stays in 13th, no improvement for whoever that was behind. Chatfield remains in P3 at the moment. George Rope crosses the line, does not improve, remains in 7th position. Here comes Daniel Fraser coming out the final turn in the Haas. Crosses the line, no improvement for him, stays in 16th, still in the cusp of being through into Q2 as Gal remains on a 1 minute 15.100. Gomez is on improvement and he goes up to 17th, not quite getting out of the drop zone just yet. Kirby improves, but only up to 18th, so still not able to get out of the drop zone. Wilson's on improvement, and she improves, but remains in 20 seconds. Still just over 3 seconds behind Miklos Gal in this qualifying session. Q-Pot now then comes towards the final turn, as he'll now make his way onto the pit straight, and across the line will go the German, and across the line he goes, and he remains where he is at this point in time. Here comes Armar Carr as he'll now make his way around the final corner onto the pit straight. Then we'll go the Mercedes driver, and he's not improving at the moment. Carr currently down in 9th position, and he remains in 9th for the moment, so traffic and crashes seem to be an issue for Mercedes in this session. Here comes Laura Chung making her way through the right-hander. Let's see what her second sector is like. 7 tenths down, so at the moment it doesn't look like that Chung is on improvement. In fact, she's up in 2nd place, so I think she's pretty much safe as it is at the moment. Into the second to last corner, and now up towards the final turn will go Laura Chung. Through the final corner and onto the pit straight will go Laura Chung in the Ferrari. Makes her way onto the pit straight. Across the line she will now go, and she does not improve, remains where she is at this point in time. As meanwhile Griffiths has gone out. He'll get one more chance to try and get himself out of the drop zone. So Griffiths is going out on the racetrack. Anybody else going to join him? If they get out below the 1 minute 15 mark, then they won't have a chance to get one more lap here in this session. There is somebody else out on track looking at the mini map, so somebody else has joined him. I think that is no, that's Laura Chung. She's coming back into the pits. Apologies there. Nobody's gone out just yet as the seconds tick down, so it might be just Jamie Griffiths who might be able to only just get a lap in, although there is movement going on. Verderi is going out. He's just going to give himself one more chance as well. Well, I say that. I think he's already through anyway, so I don't think he's going to worry too much. But that's that. So only Griffiths and Videri will get a lap, and Griffiths will be the only one left to get one more chance to go through into Q2. So Byrne, so the top 15, I think it's fair to say are safe. Fraser will be hoping and praying that Griffiths doesn't improve to get into the top 16, because at the moment, the Williams, they're only going to be locking out row 10 in this session. Around the final turn, will go Jamie Griffiths as he makes his way onto the pit straight, and Griffiths starts his lap now then. His final lap of Q number 1. Luckily, no traffic in front of him, so he should be able to get a clean lap right there. Through into the first turn he goes, as he'll now use a bit of curb on the outside, making his way down towards turn number 3 now then. And in fact, I think... no, never mind. I think I'm just seeing things there on the mini-map. Coming out of turn 4, let's see what his first sector is like compared to his personal best. Keep an eye on the def panel, and he's 1/10 up on his personal best. Just looking at the gap between himself and Fraser, it's pretty close, so Griffiths does have a chance to knock Fraser out of this session. So let's see if Griffiths can keep this up then. Through the chicane then goes the Welshman, as he'll now make his way through the S's now then, flicking it in for the left, then through the right. The checkered flag is now out, signifying the end of Q1 now then. Through into the left-hander goes Jamie Griffiths, and then flicking it in through this very quick right-hander. A lift off of the acceleration. Let's see what his second sector is like. 2/10 up on his personal best. It looks good so far for Griffiths to get himself through into Q2, as long as he makes no mistakes. Into the second to last corner goes Jamie Griffiths now then. Into the final corner then will go the Welshman. Around the final corner and onto the pit straight goes Jamie Griffiths. Can he get the Williams through into Q2? Down the pit straight and across the line will go Jamie Griffiths. Can he get through into Q2? Yes, he can. He gets up into 14th position. Fraser is officially out. The checkered flag is out. It's only for Derry left, who's on the lap. Whereabouts is he? There he is, and he's up on his personal best. So let's see what sort of improvement can Videri do in this session. But your bottom 6 is completed. So everybody from 17th to 22nd, they are officially out.
Oh, he's made a mistake.
Q2 was a big mistake from Videri, and he's lost his front wing in the process. So that lap has gone down the toilet. And, well, that's that session done with. So Videri, once he comes into the pits, that will be the session pretty much done with there. Videri has pretty much wrecked it, really, with that mistake he's just done there at that quick right-hander. But it doesn't matter anyway, because he is safely through into Q2 anyway. Same cannot be said, though, for his teammate, that being Gabriel Gomez, who is down in 18th position. But that is Q1 done with, as we're going to get a replay of this mistake, Ra. Take us through it.
Yeah, so far he was going so far so good. He just made a mistake just before going into this corner, and he gets a lot of oversteer and goes very wide onto the curb. Loses control, starting to lose control of the car. He nearly loses it, saves it just about, but unfortunately doesn't save his car. His front wing has damage, basically. So yeah.
Indeed so. Well, once everyone who is just gone out for an outlap crosses the line, that will be the session done with, and then we can have a look at the remainder of the session, really. But that's that then. So your bottom 6, you can see down there from 17th to 22nd are out. But I think it's fair to say, very good sessions for both Laura Chung and Chris Chatfield, and even Joseph Willows as well, Ra.
Yeah, indeed. He started to pick up his pace.
It seems the midfield could spring a bit of a surprise around here in Hungary, given that it's more of a downforce track. But it seems so far, especially looking at practice, advantage Red Bull so far, Ra.
You can never tell early. It is Q1, of course, but Mercedes could turn it up in Q2 and Q3.
Indeed. So as mentioned, it's Gal, Chatfield and Chung who round out the top 3, and your bottom 6 are Daniel Fraser, Gabriel Gomez, Dudu Kirby, Felix Sontag, Rosetta Martinez, and Amelia Wilson. So whilst we wait then, guys, for Q2 to get underway, let us know your prediction on who you believe will be eliminated in that session. And whilst you do that, I'll get the tweet prepared and set up for Twitter. So a very, very interesting session, and the midfield, it seems so far, could spring a surprise in qualifying, but we'll have to wait and see if that develops a little bit further in the remaining 2 sessions here in qualifying. But so far, very encouraging. We did see it a little bit in practice as well, despite the fact that it was in wet conditions. So we will wait and see if that develops a little bit further than that. But very, very good session, I think it's fair to say at this point, as I'm now getting the tweet ready. And after 18 minutes. So the home favourite, Miklos Gal, doing a very good job in front of his adoring fans here at Hungary. And I should point out as well, for anybody wondering, there will be Hungarian commentary for the highlights for this one. In fact, 3 races this season will have Hungarian commentary from Bence Valdinger again. One of them coming from here at the Hungarian Grand Prix, the other coming from the Italian Grand Prix at Monza, and the other one coming at the finale in Brazil, which will of course be the last top class race of this current era of the OC before we go into the fantasy era. So be on the lookout for that on YouTube. So very exciting stuff. That is if Bence is still interested, which I believe he is. So that's that really. So yeah, keep an eye on that one for any of our Hungarian viewers, because you know we do have plenty, judging from the last Hungarian highlights that we did back in 2018. I think it was back in the 2018 season. Just getting this tweet sorted. Out in Q1, Fraser. And Wilson, there we go. The man is, of course, bringing up the back row of the grid. Obviously, I'll ask a little bit later on what Ra's predictions are for this session. You'll hear mine in a little bit. But we're just waiting for Q2 to get underway for us, guys. I've just popped the tweet up and just checking to see if any of those drivers... question to Yuri, in fact. How many custom sponsors are drivers allowed on the car? I'm always wondering. Not ridiculous. Well, there isn't a specific number. Just name any and see if they're silly or not. I guess we can just then choose one. Then I guess one out of the ones they choose. I think it'd be easy if they just went with one. I think, to be honest, Yuri, if I'm being personally honest, but yes.
Well, let's see what other people have put 3 to 4, some even 5. Then there's some who have had a lot. So no set number. But let's. I say as long as it doesn't fill up the car, it's fine. So I think you can. I think, let's say an optimal, if you want to put many, is 3 to 4.
Alright. I'll say that is around 3 to 4. Just to ensure it doesn't fill up the car. Yeah, I've put that in there on the sponsor requests for those guys, so you should get an answer there. Not watching the stream at this point. So, as long as they're not silly as well, guys, let's just make it clear and make sure there isn't a sponsor clash either. So, yeah, trying to make it as realistic as possible, really. I know, but it wouldn't make sense if you've got Coca-Cola and Red Bull on the same car, would it? That's a bit of a brand clash. So, yeah. As Ra says, he'll be back in a bit. That's perfectly fine.
Well, I can be here up until he returns. Anyway, I'm ready to begin Q2.
Okay then, so you'll be seeing it on your screen in just a little bit, guys. Of course, it will be a dry session, like like we saw a little bit earlier on. All sessions are going to be dry, and there it is on your screen, just for clarity. Fongchanek, in fact, got his predictions correct in Q1 last time around, so well done to him there. Let's see if he can keep that one up in queue number 2, as I haven't got the screen yet, Yuri. So
Oh no,
you've got a bit ahead of me there. So
there's the screen.
thank you. Cute. So we're on the loading screen, and I'm just going to read and see if anybody reads people's predictions. Fonchanek has said Griffiths, Videri, a Renault, both AlphaTauris and a Ferrari. Fonchanek said one McLaren might go out, but he feels it may be De Rosa. Okay, that's very interesting. I guess because De Rosa didn't have the best of sessions in Q1, but let's see if he can keep it up in Q2. Let's see if he can improve in Q2. My predictions, I'm going to go with Griffiths, Videri, a Renault, AlphaTauri, a Ferrari, and you know what? Let's say the other AlphaTauri as well. So both AlphaTauris involved in that. That's my predictions. Is Ra back? Is Keepok is out on the racetrack? Okay. What are your predictions then for Q2, Rail?
It'll be Griffiths, Videri, a Renault, an AlphaTauri, a Ferrari. I think I'm gonna go bold. I'm gonna say a Racing Point.
Okay. Yeah, very bold with the Racing Point one. But anyway, Q-Pock is the first driver out on the track for Q2. There's a few more cars are now starting to make their way out. So hopefully for Q-Pock's sake, nobody is coming out of the pits when he makes his way back onto the pit straight. But of course, in the last session, if you didn't see what happened in Q1, of course, we did see a few mistakes creeping up, especially from Franco Lopez, who obviously crashed at this corner right here as he was pushing very, very hard. And we also saw Videri make a mistake towards the end of Q1 as well, which saw him lose his front wing. But luckily for him, it didn't matter too much because he was through into Q2 anyway. Also making it through into Q2 was Jamie Griffiths, so I'll be very interested to see what he can do in this session, being the only Williams in this session. As now Q-Pop makes his way down the pit straight to start his first lap of Q2, and luckily for him there are no cars in the pit lane, so he should be able to get a clean first lap in. Of course, his teammate Chris Chatfield was the first out on track in Q1, let's not forget, and he actually was the quickest after the first few runs. So maybe the same moment for Q-Pop. We'll have to wait and see. He now makes his way down towards turn 3.
Ooh,
Well,
he's made a mistake.
He's just made a lock up. He's just locked up there. So that's not going to probably happen this time about unless everybody else makes that same mistake into the corner, which I highly doubt. So anyway, Q-Pop's first sector, 27.787. Probably should have been a lot more without that mistake going through into turn 3 there. And hello Michael, he says both Renaults, both AlphaTauris and both McLarens. Okay, as Q-Pop now then makes his way through into the S's through the right hander, as he'll now make his way towards the end of sector 2 very, very soon, past the area where Lopez had his crash in Q1. Let's see, at 54.883 for Q-Pop in the second sector. Just looking at everybody else's first sectors, in fact, it wasn't a bad first sector for Q-Pop despite that mistake, but it could have been a lot better because there is Videri who's done a 28 in the first sector. Same with Galloway, in fact. Not Galloway. Gal, he's not had a very good first sector either, although he did do that in practice, not forget, and then his last 2 sectors did end up being good. A 116.716 for Q-Pop, as Rokas expected goes quickest by 7/10 of a second. Franco Gamba across the line, he goes fastest by 0.04 of a second. Across the line, Motra now goes fastest, 19 thousandths quicker in front of his own fast. Lopez only P4 that
Ooh,
time,
he's made a mistake, guys.
in the last sector.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah. So yet again, more mistakes for Mercedes. Maybe pushing a bit too hard in this session as he's locked up going into the last few corners. He was up in the second sector, but he's only managed 4th thanks to that mistake. Here comes Galloway coming down the pit straight. Across the line, he will go in the Renault, and he goes into 4th. Roberto Gambo goes fastest by 0.3 of a second. So Roberto Gambo to the top of the time machine. Here comes Evan Byrne, who started on the front row a couple of seasons ago. He goes 4th. Videri 10th as Gal's own knife. That's why he was down, because he was held up. Chung only 7th. Here comes Willows. Across the line, he goes into 8th position. Here comes Jamie Griffiths in the Williams. Across the line, he will goes into 13th. 9th for Kirishima De Rosa, and he goes only 13th that time by. So both AlphaTauri is in the drop zone, but at the moment, once again, the midfield coming alive in this session as Roberto Gamba is at the top of the timing sheets by nearly 0.4 of a second. But again, more mistakes from the Mercedes, and even Armar Carr, who is down in 6th position. So it's not looking good for Mercedes at the moment, Ra.
Yeah, indeed. Lopez another mistake, and Gal again held up. He's in 15th at the moment. Hopefully he can improve. But yeah, same for Lopez as well. But yeah, so far not the cleanest qualifying session for Mercedes at all.
No, definitely not. But yet again, like we saw in Q1, the midfield sparking a bit of a surprise so far in this session, Ra.
Yeah, indeed.
Roberto Gambo, who of course is not unfamiliar when it comes to topping a session. He already topped a qualifying session this season. I think it was at Silverstone, was it? Was it at the last race? Not mistaken. He's already topped a session this season. He obviously topped one a few seasons ago when he was at Sauber back at Monaco. Maybe he could top another one this session, but we'll have to wait and see, of course, because Lopez did make that mistake. So maybe he has got some extra in the tank, and because of that mistake, it's put him in the drop zone. And because of Gal's held up, it's put him also in the drop zone as well. So quite interesting stuff at the moment, it's fair to say. As I think, in fact, I'm just looking around. I'm just painting a picture. Of course, we've got a bit of a delay on the stream at the moment because of a setting issue that somebody corrected on the streaming. I don't know whether it was me or Flo by accident, but somebody did. It's around, I'd say about nearly 4 seconds behind on the stream. It's usually a lot less than that usually, but that should be fixed for the race tomorrow, guys, as long as you remembers. But anyway, he might do that actually once the stream is finished. But anyway, Lopez is going out on the track. He's making sure that there's nobody in front. But then again, he's probably has to bank that nobody's coming out on the track. And also coming out on the track is one of the Red Bulls. But that's Franco Garma. That's not the one who's in the drop zone, which is Miklos Gal. Of course, he got held up by Videri on his lap, and he'll be hoping for a cleaner lap this time by. As Lopez makes his way down the hill now. Then he's going to go flat out for the right-hander, as he uses quite a bit of curb on the outside. He's now making his way up towards the very quick left-hander. As Carr has now come out onto the racetrack, as has Miklos Gal. So the Red Bulls and the Mercedes out on the racetrack. So only 4 cars at the moment out on track at this point in time. As now coming through the S's we will go. There's a bit more activity, as you can see on the mini-map on the right-hand side of your screen. As now Lopez goes around the right-handers and now make his way down towards the final few turns. In the car using a bit of curb on the inside, using it also on the outside. That's obviously where he made his mistake earlier on in the session. He'll be hoping not to repeat that this time by, as he now comes towards the final corner. He'll be hoping there's no traffic in front of him, otherwise that could put him back a bit more in this session, as Lopez now then starts his second flying lap of Q2 as he makes his way down the pit straight. Is there any traffic on the right hand side? The answer to that is no. So Lopez will get a clean lap. Same for the fellow Franco behind him, Franco Gamba. Out of turn 1 then goes Lopez, as he'll now make his way down towards out of turn 2 and then into turn 3 he will go. The repaired turn 3 for Grand Prix 4 through the left-hander we go. As now flat out through the right-hander goes the championship leader and the defending champion. Up the hill then goes Franco Lopez. Let's see what his first sector is like, and he's 900ths up, nearly a 10th up on Roberto Gambo in the first sector, but he's 57 thousandths down on his personal best. Of course, let's not forget, he'll probably gain the time back in the last sector because that's where he made that mistake. Coming out of the chicane then goes Lopez, as he'll now flick the car through the S's now then, trying to keep the car as tidy as possible as he uses, just avoids the curve a little bit, just stays on the white line that time by. Here's the corner where he had his crash in Q1. Coming out of there, let's see what his second sector is like, and he's lost a bit of time, in fact, in the second sector compared to Roberto Gambo. He's only 28 thousandths up that time by, so he's lost a bit of time to Roberto in the second sector. So let's see if that's still going to be a thing going into the last sector now then. Around the final corner, and onto the pit straight goes the championship leader. Can he get himself to the top of the time machines? Lopez down the pit straight, across the line. He will go, and he doesn't. He's 21 thousandths over Roberto, but Franco Gambo is able to do so. He goes fastest. So far, it's a Gambo 1-2 at this point in time, as Carr and Gal are holding each other up. Gal was actually up on Franco Gambo in the second sector, but I don't know if he's still going to be because he's got Carr right in front of him, holding him up for dear life. In fact, both of them compromising each other because they're both up on their personal best. Down the pit straight then, Armar Carr crosses the line, goes into fourth. Gal goes into second to make it a Red Bull 1-2. It could have been more if he didn't get held up by Carr that time by. Here comes Galloway approaching the final turn in the Renault. He's improving at this point in time. He's currently down in the drop zone. Galloway down the pit straight, across the line. He will go, and he goes into ninth position, pushes Willows down into the drop zone. Motrin crosses the line, remains where he is, which is P6 at this moment. Kupok is up on his personal best. The German now then down the pit straight, across the line. He will go, goes into 11th, gets in front of Willows. Rope doesn't improve, remains in 8th 8th position. Videri gets up into 15th. Here comes Laura Chung. Across the line she will go. She remains in 10th. She's still in the cusp. Roberto Gambo not up on his personal best, and he remains in 3rd position at the moment. Joseph Willows across the line. He doesn't improve. He's still in the drop zone. So at the moment, he's going to be starting in 17th position, of course, because let's not forget Willows has that 5-place grid penalty, of course. Byrne crosses the line, remains in 7th position. So far, both runners are going to make it through into Q3 at the moment, which they haven't done for quite a while, it's fair to say. Griffiths now then. Into the final turn he goes. He's currently in 16th position. Down on his personal best is he's got De Rosa behind him as well. Across the line, and Griffiths does not improve. De Rosa doesn't improve either. So far, both McLarens are in the drop zone. Willows in 12th and De Rosa in 13th position. And of course, to add to that, Willows, of course, as mentioned, has got that 5-place grid penalty. Chatfield gets up to 5th. That's a big improvement there for Chris Chatfield. Once again, showing his pace around here at the Hungaroring. So up into P5. Goes Chris Chatfield at the moment. So at this point in time, we're just under 5 minutes to go. Chung is in the drop zone as well. So the Ferrari is now down in the drop zone as a result of Chatfield's improvement. But at the moment, we could be seeing both McLarens and even a Ferrari being eliminated at the moment, Ra.
Yeah, indeed. And the Red Bulls really turned it up. I mean, Franco Gamba and Mikko Scott, they had really better setups than the Mercs. And even while you were commentating Lopez's lap, I knew straight away that Gamba would improve and go quicker than Lopez by 2 to 3 attempts, and he was.
Indeed so, as we're going to wait to see if anybody else... there should be more that should be coming up, but will anybody get left behind? Well, Franco Gama is not wasting any time. The man who's currently at the top of the timing sheet, and he goes out on the racetrack now then, as he now makes his way out of the pit lane, as now he goes around the hairpin. Now using a bit of curve on the outside, as he'll now make his way down towards turn number 3 on the racetrack. As he flicks the car in through the left, and now coming around right-hander, then we'll go Franco Gamba, as he uses a bit of curb on the outside. Is now up the hill then towards the very quick left-hander. Anybody else on the track with him? Yes, Franco Lopez is out on the racetrack as well, I think. So let's see if he's able to try and find nearly 3 attempts to get himself to the top of the timing sheet. Only the 2 Francos at the moment are out on the racetrack, as Gamba flicks it through the S's now then to the left, and then into the near flat out right-hander we will go, using a bit of curb on the outside, as Gamba will make his way down towards the right-hander. He uses a bit of curb on the inside, get his way towards the final 2 corners. Now out of the second to last corner, and then up towards the final corner we'll go Franco Gamba. Around the final corner and onto the pit straight will go Franco Gamba as he makes his way onto the pit straight to start his final lap of Q2. Is there any traffic coming out on the right hand side? And the answer to that is no. There's a bit ahead, but it's too far away for Gamba to catch up. So through into the first corner goes Franco Gamba, as he'll now make his way through turn 2 and then down towards turns 3 and 4. He will go now then. There's still a few cars in the pit lane, including 4 guys who are in the drop zone. Willows, De Rosa, Videri and Griffiths. They need to get out as quick as possible if they want to have a chance of making it through into Q2. And in the case of Willows, to try and get as high as possible on the grid before the 5-place grid penalty comes into effect, as Gamba is 43,000 up on his personal best in the first sector, so he's going even quicker than what he did earlier on, as he'll now make his way towards the right-left chicane now then, flicking the car in for the right, then into the left, as the pink helmet of Franco Gamba makes his way through the S's now then, flicking the car in as fast as possible through the right, using a little bit of curve on the outside, now through the left and now approaching the end of sector 2. Near flat out through this right-hander. Let's see what his second sector is like. And he's lost time in the second sector. He's lost a bit of time to his personal best in the second sector. Let's see if he can try and recover that in the last sector. I think it's going to be a bit of an ask for the Italian, but we'll wait and see, as the bottom 6 are all out on track, as Burns just gone out on the track, and soon Chatfield should be as well. So I think all 16 cars in this session will get one more flying lap before the session comes to a close. Here comes Gamba. Across the line he will go, and he doesn't improve. Remains on 1 minute 15.263. Here comes Lopez, who's down on his personal best. So he's at the moment not able to get to where Franco Gamba is at the moment, and he doesn't improve. Remains in P4 at this point in time. As we now look at David Cupok, all the cars are out on track, so everyone will get one more flying lap in before the session comes to a close. As Cupok gets it all crossed up into the chicane, then it's affecting his momentum through into the S's. That's not going to help him, given he's down in the drop zone, because he was up on his personal best by nearly 0.2 of a second, which could have helped him. But I think that mistake is going to cost him quite a lot, and it has. He's lost a lot of time thanks to that mistake. He's nearly half a second down on his personal best in the middle sector because of that, and that might cost Davy Kupak a chance to get into Q3 as a result. So coming into the final corner will come Davy Kupak. Through the right hander he will go as he makes his way onto the pit straight, and across the line will go Davy Kupak. He doesn't improve and he is out, so he remains in 12th. That mistake has cost the German dear. Here comes Gal. He's not up on his personal best, but he's going to be through anyway, I think, because he's up in second. And he actually goes fast. He found some time. He found some time from that slipstream he got. He's 9 thousandths quicker than Franco Gambo's. Laura Chung gets up to 5th. She gets out of the drop zone. Here comes Galloway across the line. He doesn't improve. He's out. Galloway is out. He remains in 11th position. Armar Carr goes up to 3rd. So a big improvement there for Armar Carr. Gets above Roberto Gambo at this point in time. Here comes Roland Motrin across the line, and he doesn't improve. He remains in 8th position. Here comes George Roke. He's in the cusp of the top 10 right now. Coming out the final turn and onto the pit straight will go George Roke. Can he improve? No, he can't. He's got to beg that he's done enough. He's still in 10th position. Jamie Griffiths crosses the line. He doesn't improve. He's out. He remains in 16th. Here go the McLarens. De Rosa is up on his personal best. Can he get through into Q2? He can. He goes up to 8th. And so does Willows. He gets up into 4th position. They push Byrne and Roke. Roke is out of the session. Roke is out. He's already done a lap as an improvement there, I think, for Videri, but he has not been able to get himself through into the top 10. So Videri is out. Here comes Roberto Gambo, who's currently up in 5th position right now as he comes around the final corner, making his way onto the pit straight. Roberto Gambo, I think he'll be fine anyway because he's up in 5th place. He doesn't improve, remains in P5. Here comes Evan Byrne. One last chance for him to get through
he can knock out Roland
into Q3, and for the second race in a row, potentially knock both racing points out of the session. Across the line goes Byrne, and he does! Both racing points for the second race in a row have been knocked out in Q2. 11th and 12th for both Motrin and Rope. Byrne gets up into 9th position as a result. Chatfield, one more lap for him. He's safe anyway because he's up in P8, so at least there'll be one representation for AlphaTauri in the Q3 session, and Chatfield does not improve. He remains where he is in P8, and that is that then. So at the end of that, wow. Both racing points out. Galloway is out. 3 big names out. So the top 3, Miklos Gal, Franco Gambo, and Omar Carr. And your bottom 6, Roland Motrin, George Roke, Jake Galloway, David Kupak, Andre Videri, and Jamie Griffiths. Wow, what a crazy session that was, Ra.
Yeah, this is one of the craziest final laps I've ever seen in Q2. I mean, seriously. We've got both McLarens out. Willows, a miracle has happened. He's made it into Q3. Same with De Rosa. Same with Byrne as well. They knocked out Motrin, Rogue, and Galloway. And Kupak with that mistake, he lost 7 tenths in that middle sector. He was 2 tenths up in the first sector on his personal best. He lost all that. 4 tenths down in the middle sector. That cost them a lot of time. He could have made it into Q3 as well.
He's going to be kicking himself with that mistake because he definitely had the pace to make it through into Q3 and ensure both AlphaTauris made it through. But in the end, only one AlphaTauri has made it through into Q3 in the end. So whilst we get the results up, let us know, guys, your prediction on who you believe is going to get pole position. But so far, you'd have to say advantage Red Bull, maybe, Ra?
Yeah, but Carl was closer. He stepped it up, but you can't rule out the Mercedes. You can never rule out the Mercedes, even if they're a bit shaky at the moment.
Thanks for taking my my term there. I'll one day have it trademarked so that people will drink every time I say that. So,
just like your boom.
Yes, indeed, my boom. But for Joseph Willows, a Q3 for him. I know he's got a grid penalty, but it's been a while since we've seen him in Q3, I think.
Yes, Baku.
So he's finally got his qualifying sorted out, but unfortunately he's got to be hit with that 5-place grid penalty. So wherever he ends up in this session, he will drop 5 places back. He'll be hoping it's quite high in this session, so then he's still within that top 10. But we will wait and see, of course.
I already know who I'm predicting.
So I'm just writing out the tweet as we wait for Q3 to get underway. Roke, Galloway, Berry, and Griffiths. There you go. Tweet sent out. There you go. So now we just wait for Q3 to get underway. And as Yuri said, that was some Q2. It was quite mad. Will it be anything to go by for Q3? We'll have to wait and see. I'll read your predictions out in just a little bit once we get the section back underway for Q3, of course, to determine who is going to take pole position for tomorrow's Hungarian Grand Prix. And fans, they're only down to one Hungarian driver left, of course, because Roland Motrin got eliminated in Q2 that time for the second race in a row. Both racing points failing to make it into the third part of qualifying. And, well, it's not going really well, is it, for Racing Point at the moment? But it seems that they've got better race pace at the moment compared to qualifying, as we saw at Silverstone. So whether that will be the same case when the race happens tomorrow is going to be another question. But we've got the stream back up, and we are getting set for the final part of the session. And you should have it on your screen very, very soon, which you do. So anyway, who's your prediction for pole, Ra?
Willows will get pole. But if the driver in seconds, he will take the pole position.
Who will that person be?
A Red Bull or Mercedes?
Okay, you're not going to pick. I'm going to go
another McLaren.
I'm going to go with Miklos Gal legitimately, not without the penalty. Without the penalty of Joseph Willows, he's going to get it legitimately. Let's read everybody else's predictions. Von Chanek said he's going to go with Gal, who's going to get pole. Laura said not a Red Bull and American pole, so she's predicting a midfield team will get pole position, which, to be fair, it's not a wild one because we did see how much the midfield have been surprising people in this session. As we now look at Evan Byrne, who's going to be the first out on the racetrack, and potentially going to be having a we assume he's going to still be at Renault. I find it. I'd be a bit surprised if he's not at Renault next season, but he is expected to have a new teammate next season because, of course, Jake Galloway is off to Ferrari in 2021, as we found out earlier on today. So it will be interesting to see who ends up at Renault next season, replacing Jake Galloway. Should Evan Byrne get retained, because, of course, I think a lot of people are expecting that's going to be the case, unless his performances drop off a cliff. But we will see. But he's the first on track. There's a few other cars out on track now. We've got the two Gambas of Franco and Roberto, De Rosa, Chatfield, Willows, Chong and Gal, and just two more cars left to come out on the racetrack. One of them, I believe, is Armar Car, and the other one is Armar Car's just come out. Who is the other one that I'm missing out? It'll come to me at some point. But Byrne will be hoping that driver gets out before he starts his lap. And in fact, all 10 cars are out on track. I think I misread there. So as Byrne now then starts his lap, as he'll now make his way towards the first corner, and we'll be seeing in a little bit what his first sector is going to be like, as he'll now make his way down towards turns 3 and 4 on the racetrack, as he flicks the car in for the left-hander, and then flat out through the right-hander we go, as he uses quite a lot of curb on the outside there. Let's see what his first sector is like. And it is a 27.429, so a decent first sector there for Evan Byrne. Usually drivers do a similar time unless they're being held up, as De Rosa is actually up on him. He does a 27.339 that time nearly a tenth quicker. As now Byrne makes his way through into the S's, he will go. And now flicking the car in through the next section of corners. Let's see what his second sector is like. Only De Rosa and Byrne have popped a time in the first sector at the moment. His second sector is a 54.437 for Evan Byrne at this point in time. As now we've got another one, as Gal is actually down on De Rosa in the first sector there. But we'll wait and see what that's like in the remaining sectors. And same for Chong. Gamba, a 27.3, he's the quickest in the first sector. But Byrne now then comes around the final corner, and onto the pit straight will go the Irishman, as Byrne is going to cross the line, and the benchmark time is a 1:16.306, as De Rosa comes down the pit straight, and he goes faster by 0.3 of a second.
Yep, Gal half a tenth down on De Rosa in the middle sector.
Yeah, indeed. I just had to receive a call. Somebody just came into my room there asking me a question. Anyways, Gal, as you just said there, 51 thousandths down the second sector. That's not a lot, but let's see if he can try and gain it back in the last sector. Down the pit straight goes Miklos Gal. Across the line, he will go, and he goes fastest by a tenth of a second. The home favourite goes to the top. Here comes Laura Chung down the pit straight across the line. Will go the Ferrari, and she goes into 4th. 3rd now for Franco Gambo, so that drops Chung down to 5th. They were holding each other up. Roberto Gambo goes into 2nd. A good time for him there. Joseph Willows crosses the line, goes into 7th. Chris Chatfield got into 5th. Here come the Mercedes then. Let's see what Lopez can do this time by. Franco Lopez crosses the line, and he goes into 2nd. Not able to beat Gal. What about Carr? It's his turn now then. Now about Carr down the pit straight, and he goes fastest by 0.5 of a second. A 1:15.316. There we go. The Mercedes have turned up the wick this time, but Carr it is instead. That's the one that's turned up the wick, not Franco Lopez this point in time. So Carr at the top with Gal in 2nd and Lopez in 3rd position. But I think there's maybe a bit more from Franco Gambo because he was held up in traffic, Ra.
Yeah, as I said, do not rule out the Mercs. And there's an example for you.
Wrong Mercedes, Dennis. It's Carr who's at the top, not Lopez. So that's that. And don't know what you're on about there, Blake, because it says Carr that's at the top of the timing sheets, not Lopez. Lopez is in 3rd position behind Gal. But anyway, as we are waiting for the next runs to come out on the track, Willows is down in 10th position, so at the moment he'll be starting in 15th if it were to stay like this, because of course he has the 5-place penalty. And so let's wait and see if anybody else can beat Armar Carr's time of a 1:15.316. And just checking, that's not actually the quickest we've seen in this session. We saw Franco Gambo do a 1:15.2 in Q2 earlier, and of course Gal was able to go a little bit quicker than that by 0.9 of a second, but not the quickest overall, because Gal actually did a 1:15.1, of course, in Q1. So it seems like they've got slower so far in each session, but whether that will change or not for the remainder of the session, we'll wait and see, as Byrne is going out on the track yet again, first of all. And so now Byrne will flick off the pit limiter as he now goes out on the racetrack. As now coming out of turn 1. Oh, that was your prediction, Carl. Dennis, I do apologise. It came a bit late, that did. So, who turned 3 and 4 then will go Evan Byrne. As now he uses a bit of curb on the outside before Byrne. Oh, okay. As now coming around the right-hander. Well, I don't know. People said it quite late when the lap times were happening. I didn't quite see. I apologise. But anyway, leave me alone. Anyway, as Byrne now makes his way through into the S's. Now flinging the car around the right-hander as he uses a bit of curb on the outside. And now coming around the right-hander. He'll now make his way down towards the final few turns. As he'll start his second flying lap with his in. He'll be hoping there's no traffic on that lap as he makes his way through into the second to last corner. Now into the final corner then will go Evan Byrne as he'll now make his way onto the pit straight. And Byrne now then starts his second flying lap of Q2. So there's still 2 cars in the pit lane, but luckily for Byrne, none of them are going to rejoin in front of him. In fact, one of them is going to rejoin behind him, that being Franco Gambo. So Byrne comes out of turn 1. We'll be seeing what his first sector is like very soon, and Gambo will be hoping he doesn't get held up by Byrne, because it once again would mean he gets stuck in traffic. So far traffic not playing into the luck of Gambo so far in this session, as Byrne now makes his way up towards the end of sector 1. Let's see what his first sector is like. He's only 71 thousandths off of Carr in the first sector, and 1/10 up on his personal best in the first sector that time by. So let's see what his remaining sectors are going to be like, as Byrne now flicks the car in through the chicane, the right and left-hander, using a bit of curb on the outside through the S as we go, through the right-hander, and using a bit of curb on the outside as well. Flinging it in for the left-hander, and then near flat out for the right, just a lift off of acceleration. Let's see what his second sector is like. He's 3/10 down on Carr, but he's nearly 2/10 up on his personal best. I worry for Franco Gambo that he's going to get held up by Byrne on this lap, and he's going to have his lap compromised yet again. He's currently down in 6th, and he could yet again have his lap further compromised unless he gets by Byrne down the pit straight. Let's see. So Byrne comes around the final turn and onto the pit straight. Is he going to improve on his lap? Evan Byrne down the pit straight, across the line he will go, and he goes up to 3rd. That's a big improvement for Evan Byrne. It's P3 for the Irishman. So he's doing a qualifying miracle like he did 2 seasons ago at the moment, except he's not on the front row this time at the moment. De Rosa comes around the final few turns on the racetrack now then. Let's see what the McLaren driver can do. He's currently in 6th position round the final turn, and onto the pit straight will go the Polish driver, soon to be Italian driver, of course, in 2021. And De Rosa doesn't improve. Galli's up on his personal best. Let's see what he can do. Can he get to the top of the timing sheets? No, he can't. By 89 thousandths of a second, only just not able to surpass Carr at this point in time. Here comes Roberto Gambo, who's up on his personal best, currently in 5th position. Roberto Gambo down the pit straight in the Ferrari. Across the line he will go, and he goes up to 3rd. An improvement there for him, gets in front of Evan Byrne. Here comes Chris Chatfield. Across the line he will go, and he goes up to 7th. Laura Chung is on an improvement. Across the line she will go, but it's only up into 9th. Only able to improve as Lopez is improving at the moment. Let's see what he's doing. He's still down on Carr, but he could get himself, I think, up into 3rd because he's not up on Gal either. So Lopez down the pit straight. Across the line he will go, and he goes into 3rd, so not able to make it a Mercedes front row lockout. Here comes Joseph Willows. Across the line he will go. No improvement for him. Franco Gambo's on improvement across the line, and he goes only 6th. I wonder if that had anything to do with Evan Byrne, I presume. Carr is not up on his personal best of a 1:15.316. There still seems to be some improvement still lacking for some of the drivers at the moment, but we will wait and see if they're able to try and get on top of that. As Carr across the line, no improvement remains where he on the 1:15.316. So far, Gal seems to be quite close, but Lopez is also in there as well, and we still haven't really seen what Franco Gambo is able to do, given that little held up he had with Evan Byrne a little earlier on.
Yeah, you have one more chance. Hopefully he can take this chance. Hopefully he doesn't get held up like what happened last time.
Yeah, indeed, as I'm getting notifications all the time on my iPad as it's getting into my earphones, which is sometimes muting the audio. I do apologise for that if I'm not able to hear you sometimes. Blame my iPad and blame the chatty Twitter chats that I'm in sometimes. But not the GP4OC Twitter chat, by the way. It's another chat that I'm in. But yeah, and no, it's not the league I've recently been a part of. Recently, it's not FTR. They're on Facebook, not Twitter. So anyway, as Chris Chatfield now then is being wheeled back into the garage. Car's still out on the track, but he'll be wheeled back in. He'll be going back into the pits very soon. In fact, he's just coming out of the second to last corner now, as you can see on the minimap, and now he is in the pits. Everyone, I think, I might be wrong, but maybe everybody will get one more flying lap before the session comes to a close. One person that will, though, is Evan Byrne. He'll get one more lap in before the session comes to a close, as Byrne now makes his way out on the racetrack. He's now making his way down towards the first corner now then, using a bit of curb on the outside, as he'll be starting his second flying lap very soon, and hoping he won't get any traffic either on this lap. That would be ideal for the Irishman. Obviously, he didn't have any traffic on his previous lap, but he would want that to continue for his final flying lap. Some more movement, as you can see on the mini-map. One of those drivers being Miklos Gal. He's going out on the track to ensure he's got some clear air. Also going out is Kirishima De Rosa. He's out on the racetrack, so 3 cars currently out on track at the moment, as now Byrne makes his way through into the chicane. Through the S's then will go Byrne. He flicks the car in through the right-hander, as he just doesn't use that much curb. Chatfield has now gone out on the racetrack. He's also joined the fray on track, as we wait to see if there's any more movements, and Byrne will be hoping not to get held up by anybody that's coming out of the pits. Through the second to last corner will go Evan Byrne, as he'll now make his way towards the final corner and onto the pit straight. We will now go there then. He'll be hoping there's nobody coming out of the pit lane. At the moment, there doesn't appear like it, as he comes down the pit straight and Byrne starts his final flying lap. And nope, no traffic. There's only just some movement happening now, as you can see on the mini-map. Through to turn 1 then goes the Irishman. Chung has just come out on the racetrack, as has Roberto Gambo. And as is Franco Gambo, so only Lopez and Willows left to go out on the track and do one more lap. As now Byrne through the right hand he goes, using that extra bit of time that's on the inside. Let's see what his first sector is like compared to his personal best, and he's down by nearly 0.2 of a second. So far Byrne is not able to improve at the moment, as he goes around the long swooping right hander. Lopez out on track, so giving himself one more chance to see if he could potentially try and grab pole position for tomorrow's Hungarian Grand Prix. And Willows is out, giving himself one more chance to try and get as high as possible before the 5-place grid penalty comes into an effect. So all 10 cars will get one more flying lap in this session. So we have just under 2 minutes left. Through the right hander goes Byrne. Let's see what his middle sector is like, and he is 8 tenths down off Carr and 4 tenths down the first best. So I don't think Byrne is going to be able to improve this time by And coming around the final 2 turns on the racetrack. And now through the final corner. Onto the pit straight then will go the Irishman. Now down the pit straight and across the line will go Evan Byrne, and he does not improve, remains in P5 as we now look at Gal, who's down on his personal best, so I don't think Gal is going to be able to grab pole off of Armar Carr at the moment, as he'll now make his way towards the final 2 turns. He will need a miracle, I think, if he wants to get a home Grand Prix pole, but I don't think that is going to happen for Miklos Gal at the moment. Through the final turn and onto the pit straight will go Miklos Gal. Across the line he will go, and he remains in 2nd position. Kirishima De Rosa crosses the line, no improvement, remains where he is. Lopez and Willows about to start their final flying laps. Chatfield finishing off his lap, he's down in 8th. It doesn't look like the Brit is going to be able to improve, but let's see anyways. Chatfield comes down the pit straight and across the line he will go, and he does not improve, as now we look at Chung, who's up on her personal best in the 1st sector. Luckily I don't think Byrne is going to hold her up, so she shouldn't get affected too much by the Irishman as they now come around the S's. Now coming out of the turn, let's see what her 2nd sector is like. She's 3 tenths down off her car and 89 thousandths up on her personal best, so she's dropped a little bit of time in fact in the 2nd sector. Let's see if that's still going to be a case in this final sector. Into the 2nd to last corner then goes Laura Chung. She's currently in 9th position. Into the final corner and onto the pit straight will go the 4-time race winner Laura Chung. Down the pit straight and across the line she will go, and she goes up to 5th. In fact, it's a big improvement, so 4-5 so far for Ferrari. Roberto Gambo doesn't improve, Carr doesn't improve, and Franco Gamba goes fast.
Franco Gamba!
Gamba goes fastest with a 1 minute 15.015. Meanwhile, Lopez is not up on his personal best, but Gamba out of nowhere may have taken pole position at the moment. Maybe his 2nd pole of the season, we will see. Lopez comes around the final turn. He's not up on his personal best. He's currently in 4th. The championship lead across the line. He doesn't improve. Here comes Willows, who's up on his personal best. Coming down the pit straight across the line he will go, and he goes 5th. What a shame for Willows. He would have been starting 5th, but he's going to be starting in 10th thanks to that 5th-place grid penalty. But out of nowhere, Franco Gamba has taken his 2nd pole of the season. Franco Gamba will take pole position for tomorrow's Hungarian Grand Prix. And what a lap it was. So we're going to stay silent and let you see this amazing lap from Franco Gamba. That is how Franco Gamba surprisingly took pole position for tomorrow's Hungarian Grand Prix. And he was very lucky he didn't get held up by Carr, because you just saw in front there that Carr actually ran wide at the final corner just in front of Gamba. So he's lucky he didn't get caught up in that, but he's managed to grab pole position. And what a lap that was, Ra. 1 minute 15.015, 2nd pole of the season for Franco Gamba.
I would say this is one of the laps of the season. And yeah, we will see the replay of Carr going wide just a bit. And yeah,
I mean, he wasn't up on his time anyway, but yeah, that wouldn't have helped his cause either way, and he's probably going to be kicking himself knowing that the guy behind him snatched pole from him in the end. But there you have it then, that is qualifying. Probably the most exciting qualifying session of the season. It's Franco Gamba on pole position for the second time this season, with Armarco in second, the home favourite Miko Oscar in third, with Franco Lopez in fourth. Joseph Willows placed his car in fifth, but because of his 5-place grid penalty, he'll be starting in 10th for tomorrow, so instead it will be Roberto Gambo in fifth, Laura Chung in sixth, meaning the two Ferraris will lock out row 3. Evan Byrne will be in 7th, Kirishima De Rosa in 8th, Chris Chatfield will be in 9th, and then in 10th place, because of his 5-place grid penalty, will be Joseph Willows. So, what did you make of that session overall, Ra? I think it's fair to say, probably the best qualifying session of the season.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, you never know what Franco Gamba could do, and he showed it. He got pole position, and absolutely deserved.
Indeed so. Well, that has been it then, guys, for the qualifying session here in Hungary. As I said, probably the best session we've had in a long time. Probably the best session of the season, really. And it will be Franco Gamba who will start on pole position for tomorrow. But can he finally end his winless drought and finally take his second ever win tomorrow in Hungary? That's going to be a completely different question. Of course, let's not forget as well, last season, Lopez won this race by lapping the entire field. So whether Lopez can do that again or not is another question. I think it's highly doubtful, but you never know, of course. But that has been it there. I hope you've enjoyed this. Of course, we don't do the commentary for the race, of course, because we allowed George to do that for the highlights. And of course, we're not done with streams just yet, because later on tonight, in just over an hour, in fact, we have the GP2 race at Budapest, which sees Lorenzo Tomaselli on pole ahead of Jesus Perinen in second position. So it should be a very interesting race, that. 42 laps coming your way around Budapest. But until then, that has been it. Hope you enjoyed it. So thank you everyone for watching. I've been JW97. He's been Ra, and we'll see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. GMT for the 70 lap Hungarian Grand Prix. Till then, take care.
Goodbye.